This is Global Order. I'm Hindol Sengupta. Today, I'm going to talk about something really important. Why does India's foreign direct investment desperately need a security filter? This has been debated many times, and many people have given their opinion on it. But even till today, despite of all the troubles that India has faced, including repeated conflict with China, India still doesn't have determined national security filters to its foreign direct investment inflows. This is why it really needs such filters right now. One of the gaping holes in our security framework is the inability to combine national security goals with economic concerns. The key beneficiary of this lapse, of course, is China. Contrary to popular belief driven by free market advocates or people who call themselves free market advocates, India is absolutely right in preventing China's electric vehicle major, BYD, from making significant investments into the country. Indian Commerce Minister Piyush Goyal has recently said that despite pressure from within and outside, the Indian government would not allow BYD and its proposed $1 billion investment into the country. Investment proposals from both BYD and Great Wall Motors, both China based automobile majors, were rejected in 2023. Foreign direct investment, or what is known as FDI, plays a critical role in the economic growth and development of nations, including India. It brings capital, technology, expertise, fostering innovation and creative jobs. However, FDI can also pose significant risks to national security. If foreign entities gain control over sensitive sectors or over critical infrastructure. For India, which is a rapidly growing economy with strategic vulnerabilities, implementing robust national security screening mechanisms for FDI is absolutely paramount and essential. Indian analysts within and outside government gravely misunderstand, if some of them can understand this at all, the threat posed by China. It is important for India to understand that China has never been technologically stronger than it is today. And the Chinese Communist Party, also known as CCP, and the People's Liberation Army, the Chinese army, are absolutely resolute in their determination and their great power ambition to be the preeminent force in the world. And they are also, as has been reported extensively for years, completely unscrupulous in the use of stealth methods to really steal technology from across the world, including and especially in disruptive technology and trade. All of this to ensure their dominance, to leapfrog their own sectors, their own companies. To open India's vital sectors to such a player without deep checks and balances is against every sensible understanding of the nation's defense and security needs and sovereignty needs. There should not be any mistake in this. China can and will weaponize every aspect of its linkages with India if these could be weaponized. Make no mistake about this. India's approach to FDI has evolved over the years, but it lacks a comprehensive legislative framework, especially addressing national security concerns. The Foreign Exchange Management Act of FEMA, which governs FDI inflows, does not explicitly include provisions for screening investments on national security grounds. This creates legal ambiguity and limits India's ability to justify restrictive measures in international arbitration or diplomatic disputes. In April 2020, India introduced Press Note 3 requiring government approval for investments from countries sharing land borders with India. This was largely seen as a measure against China and primarily targeting Chinese investments. Now, while this is a significant step towards addressing national security concerns, it remains limited in scope and does not constitute a holistic mechanism for screening all foreign investments. The absence of a transparent and predictable framework diminishes investor confidence and creates uncertainty for foreign entities looking to invest in India. Such screening mechanisms are absolutely critical for India, which has already seen the impact of Chinese infiltration of its infrastructure in a mass blackout said to have been caused by Chinese hackers, and all this in Mumbai, India's financial capital. There have also been reports of Chinese infiltration in some of India's naval assets. All this, of course, we should take very, very seriously, and this needs immediate action. FDI can also lead to foreign control over essential sectors such as telecommunications, energy, transportation, and defense. Without proper screening mechanisms, these sectors could become vulnerable to sabotage or espionage. Foreign investments often facilitate the transfer of sensitive technologies. For example, adversarial nations, especially China, but there could be others as well, could exploit partnerships to access advanced technologies in areas like aerospace or semiconductors. Heavy reliance on foreign investment can create vulnerabilities that adversaries might exploit for political leverage or economic coercion. This could undermine India's sovereignty and indeed decision making autonomy. Foreign entities could use investments as tools to influence domestic policies or public opinion. For instance, investments in media or social platforms could enable the dissemination of propaganda or misinformation. A well defined national security framework would help India avoid legal challenges at international forums like the World Trade Organization (WTO) by clearly distinguishing between economic measures and security driven interventions. Several countries have implemented robust mechanisms to screen FDI based on national security considerations. These frameworks provide valuable insights that India can actually adapt. Let's take the United States. The US operates one of the most advanced systems through the Committee on Foreign Investments in the United States, CFI US. CFI US reviews foreign investments that may threaten national security, focusing on sectors like defense, critical technologies, and infrastructure. It has blocked several high profile transactions involving Chinese companies due to concerns about espionage and technology theft. The European Union, it also has established Regulation EU 2019/425 in 2020 to coordinate investment screening across member states. This framework allows countries to share information and tighten controls on sensitive sectors such as data infrastructure and biotechnology. France and Germany have further strengthened their screening mechanisms by lowering ownership thresholds for scrutiny and expanding the list of sensitive sectors. The United Kingdom has introduced the National Security and Investment Act in 2022, identifying 17 sensitive areas ranging from computing, hardware, to synthetic biology. This act expanded screening beyond mergers and acquisitions to include minority investments and intellectual property acquisitions. Canada has also tightened its investment screening mechanisms multiple times since 2021. It extended coverage to critical minerals and sensitive personal data while scrutinizing both state-owned enterprises and private firms with ties to adversarial nations. To address its strategic vulnerabilities while maintaining investor confidence, India should and must consider the following steps. It should develop a dedicated law for FDI screening based on national security and security criteria rather than relying on FEMA or sector based regulations. Include minority investments intellectual property acquisitions, partnerships in sensitive sectors, make them all to be handled under scrutiny, establish clear guidelines for investors regarding approval procedures to enhance predictability, set up specialized committees similar to CFI US for evaluating high risk transactions. Now, therefore, India must proactively collaborate with international partners to engage the depth of the Chinese threat and similar threats from others, engage with other countries to adopt best practices and ensure alignment with global standards. As India continues its journey towards becoming an economic powerhouse, balancing economic growth with national security, all of this becomes absolutely imperative. A robust FDI screening mechanism will not only protect India's strategic interests, but also foster a secure environment for foreign investors, providing clarity and transparency, drawing lessons from global leaders like the US, EU, UK, and Canada will help India craft an effective framework that safeguards its sovereignty while promoting sustainable development. I am Hindol Sen Gupta. For this kind of information and interviews on some of the most critical issues about foreign policy, defense, and other related issues from India and around the world, please do click on the bell icon so that you can be updated on all our great content that goes up almost every day on our YouTube channel. Be with us.